You can love someone with everything you've got and still feel like a ghost in the room when they speak. My name's Derek Miles. I'm 44, born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I work in construction project management. Not glamorous, but it pays well and keeps me busy. I'm a guy who shows up early, pays the bills on time, checks the oil in the car before a road trip, and doesn't make scenes. I don't like drama. I believe in peace, respect, and holding your word like it actually means something. I thought my wife, Rachel, valued that too. We've been married 12 years. No kids, not because we didn't try. Life just didn't line up that way. She worked in real estate, or at least she used to. After the housing market dipped, she stayed home more. Said she was recharging, exploring passions, all that vague stuff people say when they don't really know what they want. I didn't push her. I took on more hours. I covered the mortgage, paid the insurance, let her breathe. And over time, she stopped seeing me as a partner and started seeing me as wallpaper. It started subtly, little digs here and there. We'd be out at a friend's barbecue, and she'd say something like, "Don't ask Derek to dance. He's allergic to rhythm." Everyone laughs. I fake a smile. It's fine, right? Just a joke. Then later it became, "Oh, Derek? He doesn't get emotions. He's one of those stoic types." And again, more laughter. People clapping her on the back like she's doing stand-up. I laugh too, because what am I supposed to do? Call her out in front of everyone? Make it worse? But inside, I'm shrinking. One jab at a time. I started to notice the pattern. It wasn't just jokes. It was how she treated me when other people were around. At home, she was quiet, almost distant. On her phone a lot. Always scrolling, posting, checking likes. But the moment we were around friends, she came alive, loud, dramatic, sarcastic. And every time she wanted to get a laugh or win a conversation, guess who she used as the punchline? Me. I tried to talk to her about it once. Calmly, I told her, "Hey, maybe cool it with the jokes about me. They're starting to sting." She rolled her eyes and said, "You're too sensitive. They're just jokes. Lighten up." I didn't push it. Like I said, I don't like fighting. I figured maybe it would pass. Maybe she was just going through something. But I was wrong. It all came to a head on a Friday night at a bar called Copperjacks, just outside Tempe. It's a place we used to love. Pool tables, decent wings, live music. Our group of friends was celebrating someone's promotion. I'd had a long week, 2 site visits back to back, and I wasn't exactly in the mood for socializing. But I went, because Rachel wanted me to. And like always, I showed up. We were sitting at a big table in the back. 8 of us, drinks flowing, music low but steady in the background. I was sipping a beer, mostly listening, when the conversation turned to relationships. Someone was joking about couples therapy, and Rachel, loud as hell, cuts in with, "Well, if my husband wasn't such a damn weakling, maybe we wouldn't have issues." The whole table went dead silent. I looked up from my drink, thinking maybe I misheard her. But she kept going. I mean, seriously, he never argues, never pushes back. He just exists. I swear sometimes it's like being married to a doormat. Everyone laughed, but this time it was awkward. People glanced at me, unsure if they should smile or say something. Even Tyler, my closest friend, just looked down at his glass. And me? I didn't flinch. I took a slow sip of my beer, set it down, looked her straight in the face, calm as ever, and said, "Well, your bank account's about to be weak from now on." She blinked, didn't quite process it at first. Then I stood up, pulled my wallet out, tossed a 20 on the table for the drinks, and walked out. Didn't raise my voice, didn't slam the door, just walked. The air outside felt sharp. Even in Arizona, nights get cool sometimes. I sat in my truck for a minute, staring at the steering wheel. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. Not anymore. I was done. All those years of loyalty, all the times I stood by her, lifted her up, kept the roof over our heads while she figured herself out. And that's what I got. Public humiliation. For laughs. In front of people I've known for years. That was the moment I realized I'd been tolerating disrespect just to keep the peace. But real peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from boundaries. And I was finally drawing mine. She thought she could shame me and still sleep on Egyptian cotton sheets paid with my overtime. Not anymore. I drove home, to our house, but it didn't feel like home anymore. I walked into the bedroom, grabbed a duffel bag, and started packing. A few shirts, jeans, toiletries. Enough to get by for a while. I wasn't thinking long-term yet. I just needed space. Clarity. Before I left, I opened my laptop, logged into our joint accounts, transferred every cent I had put in, my paychecks, my savings, back into a personal account in my name only. I froze the credit cards I paid for, canceled the automatic transfers to her gym and her little boutique makeup subscription box. I didn't delete her from my life. I just turned off the faucet, and it felt good. What happened next? She blew up my phone that night. Missed calls, texts, voice notes. The whole damn concert. But I didn't answer. Because when someone calls you weak for being calm, for holding things in, for keeping it together, they don't deserve the explosion when you finally decide to walk. They deserve the silence that follows. When I walked out of that bar and left Rachel sitting there stunned in front of our friends, I wasn't just leaving a conversation. I was done being her emotional punching bag. By the time I got to the house, I had no urge to talk, explain, or argue. I didn't want apologies. I didn't want a scene. I just wanted space. I didn't pack everything. Just a few things I needed, a couple shirts, my favorite work boots, the folder with all my important documents, and my laptop. It was weird, quiet, cold in a different kind of way. This was a woman I'd built a life with, paid the mortgage for, bought a damn washer-dryer set because she hated the coin laundry in our old place. And yet here I was sneaking out of my own house just to avoid hearing her voice. I wasn't even mad. That was the scary part. I felt nothing. And when a man goes numb like that, it's already too late. I crashed at a buddy's place in Glendale for the weekend. Tyler, same guy who was sitting next to me when Rachel humiliated me at the bar. He didn't say much, just handed me a cold beer and said, "You good here as long as you need." That's real friendship. No questions, no pressure, just a quiet place to breathe. Monday morning, I called my bank and separated everything. I had set up our joint account years ago, mostly because she wanted to feel like a team. But the truth was, I was the only one putting money into it. Her real estate career had become more of a hobby the past 2 years. Open houses once in a while. Posting inspirational quotes on Instagram. Brunches labeled as networking. Meanwhile, I was working 50, 60 hours a week, coming home with drywall dust in my lungs and sweat soaking through my undershirt. Still, I never made her feel less than. I never threw in her face. That's just not me. But now, I couldn't ignore it anymore. She didn't just disrespect me as a man. She spat on everything I provided. So yeah, I froze the cards, shut off the app payments, canceled every subscription linked to my name. Her Amazon Prime, her Uber Eats, that fancy wine box she signed up for, all of it gone. If it had my money attached, it was done. And here's what happened next. Panic. She called me Tuesday morning, blocked number. I answered out of curiosity. "Derek, what the hell is going on? My car didn't go through at the grocery store." I didn't raise my voice. I just said, "That must be hard." She went quiet for a second, like she didn't know whether to cry or scream. "Are you seriously doing this because of what I said? You're being dramatic." There was the gaslighting, like I was the crazy one for reacting to public humiliation. I cut her off. Calm as hell. "Rachel, I've been carrying this marriage on my back for years. Paying the bills, swallowing your disrespect, laughing off your little bar jokes so you could look good in front of people. And you know what? You made your choice. I'm just giving you what you asked for, a life without a weak man." Then I hung up. What happened after that was actually kind of peaceful. I went back to work like nothing had changed. Picked up 2 more job sites. Spent my evenings at the gym, focused on myself. Tyler and I hit the trails on weekends, desert hikes out near South Mountain. I started sleeping better, eating better, feeling better. There's something powerful about reclaiming your dignity. Because for so long, I thought being a good husband meant just taking it. Not rocking the boat. Keeping things smooth, even when I was quietly drowning. But now, I saw it for what it was. I wasn't a husband. I was a provider she resented. Rachel tried everything after that. At first, it was the angry texts, the insults, the attempts to guilt me. "You're abandoning your wife. You don't get to walk away after 12 years. You think money makes you a man?" Then, slowly, it shifted. She started texting in a different tone. "I'm sorry I embarrassed you. I didn't mean what I said. I was drinking. Can we at least talk face to face? But I wasn't interested in fixing what she broke. You can glue a plate back together, sure, but it's never the same. It's weak, fragile, full of cracks. And I had no interest in living in something fragile ever again. One day I drove by our old place. I hadn't been back since I left. The lawn was a mess. Weeds everywhere. Porch lights still on in the middle of the day. She was sitting on the steps in sweatpants and a hoodie, hair in a bun, no makeup. She looked smaller somehow, tired. She stood up when she saw me pull up. I didn't even get out of the truck. She walked up to the driver's side, eyes watery. Can we talk, Derek? Please. I didn't yell. I didn't lecture. I didn't list all the things she'd done wrong. I just looked at her for a long second, then said, "You don't get to call me weak and then expect me to carry you." Then I rolled the window up and drove off. That's the thing about disrespect. Once it happens out loud, once someone spits on your name in front of other people, the line's been crossed. There's no real going back, especially when the person doesn't even understand the damage they did until the comfort stops flowing. Rachel never truly loved me for me. She loved the stability, the security, the quiet reliability. But when she mistook that for weakness, that's when she lost everything. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't cold. I was just done sacrificing myself for someone who thought her sarcasm was clever and my loyalty was weakness. And when a man like me finally walks away, he never comes back. You can always tell when someone's starting to feel the absence of what they once took for granted. At first, Rachel acted like nothing had changed. She stayed in the house, kept up her routine, or at least pretended to. She went quiet on social media, stopped posting her little married life snapshots. No more latte pics, no gym selfies with cheesy captions like "grind now, shine later." It was like she went into hiding. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding from the ground up. I moved into a small rental in Peoria, a one-bedroom with an ugly carpet and a busted ceiling fan that squeaked at night. It didn't matter. It was peaceful. It was mine. I furnished it slow, piece by piece. Slept on a mattress on the floor the first 2 weeks, ate frozen dinners, kept things simple. I wasn't living in revenge. I was living in relief. No tension, no sarcastic jabs, no walking on eggshells, just silence that finally felt like peace instead of punishment. The first time Rachel tried to really reach me, it came in the form of a handwritten letter, which, to be honest, surprised the hell out of me. She was never the pen and paper type. But there it was, folded neatly in an envelope tucked under my windshield wiper outside the gym. She must have followed me. I didn't even see her. The note? Full of emotional throwback lines. Stuff like, "I didn't realize how much I relied on you until you weren't there. I know I said something unforgivable, but I was scared and I acted out. You've always been a strong one. I see that now." I read it once, then again. Not because I was thinking about responding, but because I was studying it. Like a map of a house I used to live in, now crumbling. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry because she finally felt it. It's wild, man. You spend years holding everything together. Paying the bills, fixing the toilet, remembering birthdays, making sure there's gas in the car before she leaves for a yoga class. All the little things, invisible work, silent care. And they don't notice it. Not until you take your hands off the wheel and watch the whole thing start to skid. I wasn't being cruel when I cut her off. I wasn't trying to punish her. I just decided I wasn't going to fuel someone's lifestyle while they tore me down in public, and then shrugged it off like it was just banter. It was never banter. It was contempt wrapped in laughter. She started texting again a few weeks after the letter. Nothing dramatic. Just little feelers. "Hope you're okay. Saw your old hoodie in the closet. Made me cry. You were always the better one between us." I ignored most of it, not out of pride, but because I was already gone. Emotionally, mentally, even physically, I was already living like she was part of another life. And the more space I had from her, the clearer it all became. She never built anything in that marriage. She benefited from what I built. I was the structure. She just hung the curtains. Then came the real moment. One Sunday afternoon, I pulled into the Home Depot parking lot, picking up some paint for a job site. I was wearing an old Arizona Cardinals hoodie, earbuds in, playlist going. I step out of my truck, and guess who's standing there like a ghost from the past? Rachel. She looked different, thinner, tired. No makeup, hair up in a messy bun. She had this nervous smile, like she didn't know whether to run or beg. "Derek," she said, voice soft. "Can we talk for a minute?" I didn't say anything, just crossed my arms and waited. She stepped closer. "I've been thinking a lot. About everything. I've been seeing a therapist, trying to unpack why I treated you the way I did." I raised an eyebrow. Still didn't speak. "I get it now. How much you did. How much I disrespected you. I don't know. I thought you'd always be there." There it was. That sentence right there. That was the root of it all. She thought I'd never leave. That no matter how many times she took shots at me in front of our friends, or brushed off my concerns at home, or mocked me when I was just trying to be stable, that I'd always stay. She confused consistency with weakness. And now that I was gone, she realized just how much of her life was built on top of me silently showing up every single day. I finally spoke. "You know what the hardest part was?" She shook her head. "It wasn't the disrespect, or the fact that you embarrassed me in public. It was realizing that I never really had a wife. I had a dependent with a sharp tongue." Her lips parted. She didn't expect that. "Derek, I didn't know how to deal with my own stuff. I took it out on you. I thought you were strong enough to take it." "You're right," I said. "I was. But strong doesn't mean stupid." Silence. She took a step closer. "Do you think maybe we could try again? Start over?" I looked her in the eyes and said, without a hint of anger, "Rachel, you want to start over because now you realize you had it good. But I already started over, and you're not part of it." She started crying, right there in the parking lot. And for the first time in years, I felt nothing. That was the last time I saw her. She tried a few more times, messages, emails, even a letter to my mom. But I didn't respond. Not because I hated her, but because I was finally free of something that never served me in the first place. I kept living. I bought new furniture, started a side hustle flipping power tools online, met someone at the gym who respected my silence and didn't treat me like a joke. I wasn't rushing into anything, but it felt different, healthier, mutual. And Rachel? I heard from a mutual friend that she moved out of the house. Can't afford it without me. Try to go back to real estate, but things are slow. Word is she's living with her sister in Mesa, trying to figure things out. I wish her well. I really do. But I won't look back. Because I was never the weak one. I was the one keeping it all standing. And she didn't realize that until the foundation walked away. You know, when life just knocks the air out of you? That was me. Ethan Cole. 32. Nothing fancy. I work in HVAC. Crawl spaces, busted coils, blowing heat into rich people's homes during Colorado winters. I'm not rich, I'm not flashy, but I've always been dependable, loyal, the guy who shows up when he says he will. And that's exactly what I was to Jessica. We'd been together 3 years, engaged for almost 1. I met her at a 4th of July barbecue at my buddy Tyler's place. She was this bright, energetic woman, marketing manager for a mid-sized firm downtown, full of ideas and ambition. Always talking about personal growth and leveling up, that kind of thing. She liked planning, routines, vision boards, Sunday brunch with her girlfriends. Me? I'm more of a backyard beer, football game, steak on the grill kind of guy. But we worked. At least that's what I thought. We moved in together, split the rent on a small apartment in Capitol Hill. She picked the place, walking distance to her office, and that overpriced juice bar she loved. I didn't mind. I just liked coming home to her. I liked knowing someone was waiting. Until no one was. It started when my dad had a stroke. Middle of the night, phone rings. It's my mom, sobbing. I jump in my truck, drive straight to Boulder. He's conscious, but not right. Slurred speech. One side of his face dropped. We spent all night in the ER. I don't sleep. I'm on autopilot, talking to doctors, signing papers, getting my mom coffee because her hands are shaking too much to do it herself. And where was Jessica? Nowhere. I texted her that morning. Dad had a stroke. I'm at Boulder Community. I'll keep you posted. No reply. Not even a thumbs up. I try to brush it off. Maybe she was in a meeting. Maybe she didn't see it. But hours passed. The day turned into night. Nothing. Next day I called her. Straight to voicemail. I messaged again. Still in Boulder. Kinda need you right now. Can you call? Nothing. Again. That was day 2. Day 3. I drove home real quick to shower and grab clothes. She wasn't there. Her stuff was, but she wasn't. No note, no message, just gone. And not like working late gone, like absent. And I knew her well enough to know this wasn't some accident. She was choosing not to be there. I left her a voicemail. I sounded pathetic, I won't lie. Jess, I don't know what's going on, but my family's going through hell, and I really need you. Please call me. Still nothing. She ghosted me. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself maybe her phone broke, maybe she was sick, maybe something had happened to her. But then I saw her post a story on Instagram. Latte, laptop, some Drake song playing. Caption, resetting. Mental health matters. And that's when it hit me. While I was praying my dad wouldn't die, she was sipping coffee in some overpriced cafe, talking about resetting. No message, no check-in, just silence. It crushed me. Not even because she wasn't physically there, but because she didn't even care. I didn't matter. My pain didn't matter. My family didn't matter. She dipped the second things got uncomfortable. That silence? It's not just quiet. It's violent. It eats at your stomach. You start wondering if you're even worth someone's time. And the worst part? You still keep checking your phone, like some loser, hoping she suddenly realizes you need her. But she never did. I was sleeping in a hospital chair, feeding my dad applesauce, and helping him pee in a tube. And the woman I was going to marry? The one who said forever. She couldn't even send a damn text. I started seeing things differently after that. When my dad was finally stable enough to go home, I stayed in Boulder a few extra days just to be there for my mom. I wasn't in a rush to go back to Denver, to that apartment that suddenly felt cold as hell. But eventually I went. When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch, cool as ever. Like nothing had happened. No hug. No, how's your dad? She just said, I think we need space. I've been feeling really overwhelmed. That was it. Overwhelmed. She looked me dead in the face and told me her stress was too much. That's why she ghosted me during the hardest week of my life. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just stared at her. I realized something in that moment. She was never built for real life. She liked the version of me that bought flowers, planned vacations, sent good morning texts. But not the me that was messy, scared, grieving. She didn't want the whole me, just the parts that looked good in her Instagram story. I packed a duffel bag that night. Didn't make a scene. Didn't beg for anything. Just left. No explanation. No fight. No goodbye. She ghosted me when I needed her. So I gave her the same energy when I didn't need her anymore. You ever hit that kind of low where even getting out of bed feels like a damn chore? Yeah, that was me. After I left Jessica, walked out of that apartment without saying another word. I didn't go home to some big plan. I didn't have some clean next step or support system waiting for me. I just drove. I remember the highway lights smearing across the windshield like I was in some slow-motion movie. No music, no calls, just the hum of the road and my mind screaming inside. I crashed at a cheap motel near Thornton, one of those roadside joints where everything smells like cigarettes and regret. $49 a night. The bed was stiff, the air was dry, and the silence in that room? It was unbearable, but I didn't care. I wasn't looking for comfort. I was just trying not to fall apart completely. For about a week, I functioned on autopilot. Wake up, shower, go to work, come back, lay down, stare at the ceiling. No appetite, no energy. I kept telling myself I was fine. You're a man, you'll get through it. But I wasn't. I was empty. And here's the part people don't talk about. When someone ghosted you like that, especially someone you were going to marry, it screws with your head. You start wondering if you're the problem. If you're boring. Too much. Not enough. You replay every moment in the relationship like some forensic investigation, trying to find what made her check out like that. I go to King Soopers just to walk around. Not even to buy anything, just to feel like a human being, like I wasn't falling apart. Sometimes I just sit in my truck outside the Safeway parking lot and scroll through photos of us. I hated it, but I couldn't stop. That's the thing about heartbreak. It doesn't always come with tears. Sometimes it's just quiet. A heavy, miserable kind of quiet that follows you around everywhere. Work kept me sane. I got to give credit to my buddy Tyler. We work together at a local HVAC company. He's one of those guys that doesn't say much, but when he does, it matters. After the second week of me showing up late, barely talking, looking like hell, He pulled me aside in the back of the van during a lunch break and said, "You need to stop pretending like you're okay, man. You look like you haven't slept in weeks." I just laughed, but it hit me. Nobody had asked me how I was doing. Not really. My mom was still busy with my dad's recovery, and I didn't want to dump all this on her. And Jessica? Well, she was off the radar again. After that one "we need space" conversation, she never followed up, never checked in, never looked back. So yeah, I was on my own, which meant I had two choices: sink or rebuild. It started slow. First thing I did was get out of that motel. I found a tiny studio rental in Commerce City. Not ideal, crack in the ceiling, neighbors who blasted country music at 2 a.m., but it was mine. My space. My reset. I started meal prepping again. Just basic stuff: grilled chicken, rice, veggies. It helped me feel in control of something. I started hitting the gym again, too. I wasn't going hard at first. I just show up, put in 30 minutes, and leave. But even that felt like progress. Then one night, I'm sitting in my truck after the gym, dripping sweat, and I realized I hadn't thought about Jessica all day. It hit me like a wave. I wasn't healed yet, not even close, but I was starting to breathe again. The real turning point came about 6 weeks in. My boss called me in the office. I thought maybe I'd messed something up. But instead, he says, "We've been watching your work, Ethan. Your installs are clean. Your clients are happy. You've been consistent. We want to promote you to lead tech." Man, I swear, I sat there with my mouth open like a kid. I didn't even realize how badly I needed a win until that moment. That promotion changed everything. It wasn't just the extra money. It was what it meant. I was valuable. I mattered. Someone saw me showing up, even when I was quietly bleeding inside. Around the same time, I reconnected with my cousin Mike. We hadn't talked in years. Long story, some family drama. But he reached out after seeing something I posted online about work. We grabbed wings at Buffalo Wild Wings one Friday night, and it was like no time had passed. That night, he said something I'll never forget. "You're one of the good ones, man. You always were. You just forgot it for a while." That stuck with me, because he was right. I had forgotten. I let someone else's silence convince me I was small, unworthy, easy to walk away from. But slowly, through the routines, the long drives, the gym, the calls with Mike, I was building me again, from scratch. Now, let me be real. Healing ain't linear. There were still nights I'd wake up sweating after dreaming about her. Still days I'd see a car that looked like hers and feel my chest tighten. Still moments I'd wonder if she ever thought about me, if she felt anything for what she did. But those moments got smaller, less sharp, less frequent. I started making peace with the fact that she probably wouldn't come back, that I wouldn't get closure, that I had to give that to myself. And that's what I did. I forgave myself for not seeing it coming. I forgave myself for loving her blindly. And I made a promise. Next time, I'd never ignore red flags. I'd never let someone disappear on me twice. By month 4, I was in the best shape of my life. Not just physically, mentally. I had goals again. I signed up for a certification course to expand my HVAC license. I started going out again, not to find someone new, just to feel alive. Coffee shops, hikes, even started volunteering at a shelter on Saturdays, just to give back. I'd become the man I wish she had stood beside. But she didn't. And that's okay, because by the time she did show up again, I was already gone. I wasn't waiting for her anymore. I wasn't even thinking about her that much. Life had moved on. I had moved on. It had been nearly 5 months since I left Jessica sitting on that couch, staring blankly at me after saying she was overwhelmed and needed space. 5 months since I packed my bag in silence and gave her the exact same thing she gave me, nothing. Since then, I'd rebuilt from scratch. My new apartment wasn't much, but it was mine. I had new routines, new peace. I was back in control of my life. I wasn't chasing love. I wasn't chasing anything, just living quiet, focused, grounded. So when I saw her name pop up on my phone that Thursday night, Jessica Martin, missed call, I just stared at it. Felt nothing. Not anger, not hurt, not longing. Just a little tightness in my chest, like a memory knocking on a locked door. She called again. Then came the texts. "Ethan, I know I don't deserve to reach out. I've been thinking about you every day. Can we talk? Please." I didn't answer that night. I didn't sleep much either. Not because I missed her, but because I was debating if I should even bother opening that door. But I'm not the kind of guy who leaves things half-finished. I wanted to hear what she had to say, not because I needed her apology, but because she needed to see what she walked away from. We met 2 days later at a small coffee shop near downtown, not the one she used to love. This one was different, quieter, grittier, more me. She walked in wearing that same beige coat she used to throw on when she was late for work. Hair tied back, makeup light, face pale like she hadn't slept either. She sat down across from me, eyes already glossy. I didn't say a word. She took a deep breath and started. Ethan, I was scared. I didn't know how to be what you needed when your dad got sick. I panicked. I thought if I stepped away, it would give me clarity, but I was selfish. I ghosted you and I know that. And I'm so sorry. She was holding back tears. I could see her hands trembling a little as she wrapped them around her coffee cup. That used to be my cue, the moment where I'd reach across, comfort her, tell her we'd figure it out. But not this time. I nodded. Calm. Okay. She looked surprised, maybe expecting more. That's all you have to say? I looked her straight in the eye. I'm glad you figured that out. I just wish you hadn't figured it out after I went through hell alone. Silence. She started crying, quietly, wiping her face with the sleeve of that coat. She kept talking, rambling about how she missed me, how nothing felt right since I left, how she thought we were soulmates, how she'd do anything to go back and change it. And the more she talked, the clearer it became to me. She wasn't sorry because of what she did. She was sorry because I didn't come crawling back. She was sorry because I healed without her. When you finally get over someone, their words don't hit the same anymore. You hear them, but they don't move you. It's like watching a sad movie you've already seen too many times. You already know the ending, and this time, it doesn't hurt. I let her talk. I didn't interrupt. I didn't fight. I just let her sit in her own mess. And then, when she finally looked up at me and said, "Can we just try again?" I leaned back in my chair, took a breath, and I said it as simply as I could. I'm not the guy you left anymore. She froze. Her lips parted, like she wanted to argue. But what was there to say? You disappeared when I needed a partner. Not for a fight. Not for attention. Just for presence. And when I left, you let me. Not once did you try to reach out. Until now, when you realize I'm not in your orbit anymore. Her eyes were soaked. She shook her head. I didn't know how to deal with it. I shut down. That's fine, I cut in. But now I know who you are when life gets hard. And I can't build a future with someone who runs when it matters most. That was it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't guilt her. I didn't make a speech. I just got up, dropped a few bucks on the table for the coffee, and walked out. She called out my name once. Softly. But I kept walking. I didn't block her right away. I wanted her to feel what I felt, that open-ended silence. That question mark hanging in the air. That weight. And I knew it was hitting her because over the next few days, I got messages. I can't stop crying. Please tell me you're okay. I'll wait as long as it takes. But I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty, but because I had nothing left to give her. I had done my grieving already, back when she was out there living her life while I was falling apart alone. I cried my tears in motel rooms, in hospital parking lots, in the dark at 3 a.m. with a phone that never lit up. She was just arriving at a place I'd already left. Weeks passed. I blocked her eventually. Not out of hate, but out of peace. I was done reopening wounds just because someone suddenly missed the blood. Now, when I think of her, it's like thinking of someone I used to know in another life. Someone who taught me something brutal, but necessary. She taught me how to stop choosing people who don't choose me back. She taught me how to stay solid when someone else crumbles. And above all, she taught me that closure isn't something they give you. It's something you take for yourself. So yeah, she came back with apologies, promises, tears. But I just smiled and disappeared, just like she did.